Social and news media has been buzzing the past few days over an incident that occurred at a political gathering where a reporter named Michelle Fields claims that she was forcibly grabbed and shoved by a man who was part of Donald Trump's campaign. This has brought to my attention that there are a multitude of persons who are fairly clueless about the legal definition of battery, as well as the deception of video editing. I have thrown together this video in an attempt to enlighten others and perhaps save them from the abuse that Michelle has suffered at the hands of certain dishonest public figures and the arrogant people who pass judgment without analyzing the evidence. First, let's take a look at the footage that's been all the rage lately. Deniers claim that this footage shows that Michelle was not attacked as she claimed she was, but watch closely. Okay, now let's consider a couple of things. First, Michelle is clearly grabbed by someone in this video. The grabber holds her with enough force to not only stop her from walking, but then shoves her backward. As she is grabbed, we can see that she attempts to regain her footing as she lightly stumbles backward. Seems innocent enough, right? What about the fact that this video was played back at around half speed? Let's watch it again at full speed, overlapped with another non-slowed video source from the same day. Seems a bit more forceful now, huh? How would you feel if someone came up beside you and did that to you? Startled? Afraid? Confused? Is this kind of hands-on contact with other people okay? Let's take a look at the definition of battery to get a better picture. First, I'll quote from the Cornell University of Law website. Battery is defined as, in criminal law, a physical act that results in harmful or offensive contact with another's person without that person's consent. Was this consensual? It didn't look like he even asked if it was okay to grab and move her. Was it offensive? She clearly didn't like it. Now let's look at an explanation given by hg.org, a legal help website that has been around since 1995. hg.org explains battery like this. Battery law deals with the consequences of touching another's person in a harmful or offensive manner. Battery is closely related to assault. In fact, the two offenses are so similar that they often create confusion. Assault occurs when the victim is placed in apprehension of contact, while battery refers to the contact itself. Thus, whether either or both of the offenses can be established depends upon the victim's awareness of the threat of contact, and whether contact is in fact made. The two offenses can, but need not always, occur together. Now let's look at an explanation given by findlaw.com. Under this general definition, a battery offense requires all of the following. Intentional touching, the touching must be harmful or offensive, and there must be no consent from the victim. It may come as a surprise that a battery generally does not require any intent to harm the victim, although such intent often exists in battery cases. Instead, a person need only to have an intent to contact or cause contact with an individual. Additionally, if someone acts in a criminally reckless or negligent manner that results in such contact, it may constitute an assault. As a result, accidentally bumping into someone, offensive as the victim might consider it to be, would not constitute battery. The criminal act required for battery boils down to an offensive or harmful contact. This can range anywhere from the obvious battery where a physical attack such as a punch or kick is involved, or even minimal contact in some cases. Generally, a victim doesn't need to be injured or harmed for a battery to have occurred, so long as an offensive contact is involved. In the classic example, spitting on an individual doesn't physically injure them, but it nonetheless can constitute offensive contact sufficient for battery. Whether a particular contact is considered offensive is usually evaluated from the perspective of the ordinary person. So if you were walking along in the supermarket and someone grabbed you in this manner, would you be okay with it? What if a group of people did this to you, repetitively, passing you back and forth? Would you be okay with that? Leaving my personal politics at the door, this man forcefully grabbed Michelle and shoved her aside, violating her personal safety through battery. To Michelle Fields, I say, I am sorry for what this man did to you, and hope that you are successful in your endeavors to secure justice for this unapologetic crime. I also hope that this video will inspire some of my friends to be slower to jump on the bandwagon of judgment with the latest topics on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and other social media outlets. Michelle is a person, like so many others, and deserves the same basic respect as the rest of us. Lastly, for anyone who wants to check my sources, you will find links in the description of this video as hosted on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/BenjiWright.